All right, what's good, guys? So, as you guys know, we're here in Rome, Italy, and so we're going to be answering all of your questions for the 60-day sprints. And tons of great questions actually yesterday. And so if you guys are new, please sub to the channel, drop any questions you guys have in the comments. Honestly, anything regarding agency, life, travel, fitness, whatever it so be. I'm trying to make this channel into something that's just pretty raw and real. I'm not doing any fancy bullshit edits or anything like that. Honestly, just giving as much value as I possibly can in these short 4 to 7 minute videos. And then obviously the vlogs are going to be coming out later. But let's get into it. So Ali, what's up, Ali? You said, how do you go about making ad creatives for clients who are far away? Do you ask them to make a video and send it over, or how do you go about that? The first point of your question, which is, depending on how far away they are, that's completely irrelevant. Most people, if you're running an agency, SMMA, whatever it so be, you're not meeting with your clients in person. I know I do sometimes, on my website, I have a pic with my client in person, but the way that you do this is everything from the entire relationship. You frame it in their best interest. On sales calls, you frame our program in their best interest. When getting creatives from them, you frame it in their best interest. Hey, we're gonna need this and this because we've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars in different markets, and these have been proven to be winners. We want to get you the best results, and so with that, we need you to work with us and to get us the material on time, please. Again, guys, everything goes back to them making money, making them a crystal clear ROI, and that's pretty much the bulk of this entire relationship, right? It's to make money. All the pleasantries come after all of that, and it's super important that you, again, frame it in their best interest. That's what I would do, Ali. And yeah, I really hope that helps. Just let me know. Tommy, what's up, Tommy? You said, outside of travel points on credit cards, have you found any good travel hacks that have allowed you to run the agency while abroad? Great question. And yeah, oftentimes when people ask about travel tips, I typically just revert to the Amex points because it is insane. It's insane, guys. For example, one of my good friends, Noah, he's in Germany. He doesn't have an Amex, but he's spending, 15K a month on ads. That's 15, 30, 45, 60, $60,000 points a month. That's multiple business class flights. That's free Apple products whenever you want, upgrades, doesn't matter, right? So yeah, I would always revert back to that. But now that we're not talking about that, seats.aero.com. That's your answer. You can find super dumb cheap points for flights, either domestic in the US or wherever abroad in Europe. I don't know where you're exactly from, but I use it sometimes, and I connect my Chase and my Amex portal to it. And so it gives you the sickest deals. Pay for the $10 subscription or whatever it is. Just pay for it because you could then book flights more than 3, 4, 5 months out. And that's where the deals get really sick. For example, New York to Europe, I can find a flight for 10,000 points. Guys, that's nothing. That is nothing. You could basically travel for free. And the way that I think about this and how it's broken down is when you travel, it's broken down into 3 different categories. You have stays, where are you going to stay? Transportation, how are we going to get around? Ubers, planes, and then this is hotels, Airbnbs, whatever it is. And then we have food and water and drinks, whatever, right? What am I going to eat? What am I going to drink? That makes up the bulk of those 3. And so if you can eliminate a third or one tier by just using using points and just going to these sites where it's dumb cheap, that's basically an entire section down. Then stays, if you could also travel hack with stays, that's super cool. Honestly, when it comes to stays, I just find really nice places because it really goes back to increasing your productivity and your work environment. So don't cheap out on yourself on stays. Typically don't look for the cheapest as well, right? As I'm going along this journey of entrepreneurship and scaling to ideally, 200K a month, right? I can never act from a place of scarcity, and you watching this as well, you should never, ever, ever act from a place of scarcity or lack of or desire, because that's a very low vibration state. And it's oh, okay, I need this, you're kind of looking upwards, and it's rather to just act in parallel and in congruence with the person we want to become. And I really hope that helps, Ali. Now, last question from last video, which is, let's see here, Cat TP3. What's up, dude? Or she, I don't know what you are. How do you manage your cash flow in the business? Do you have a schedule of paying yourself out, making investments, budgeting for ads, etc.? Would like to know if that is tracked and managed. Yeah, so the last part, the ads aspect, 70% goes to winners, 20% goes to slight variations of those winners, 10% goes to crazy fucking ideas that you think would potentially work. That's how I go about my ad budget. And then, yeah, the investments. So to be honest, dude, like everything I'm making right now, it's really just going back into the business and scaling ad spend. I do have a little bit of crypto, a little bit of gold, but I'm not at the point yet where like I'm cash flowing, 100K a month profit, right? So that's my current situation. If you look at people like Sui, right? Sui, if you guys don't know him, just look him up on Instagram. Cool dude. I heard him speak in London for the latest mastermind, doing like 400K a month, obviously in top line revenue, but like he breaks down his investments. But I'm not at that point yet, right? Like everything is going right back into ad spend, scaling, hiring, because I understand that like the hockey puck pattern of growth will happen. I just need to keep pouring as much gasoline on the fuel as possible. And then the second part was also, I'm not sure if you'd be up for it, but I'd love to see day in your life, sort of these videos as you run the agency. Would be cool to see how you're handling stuff like as it happens live in business and balancing throughout. Yeah, great question, dude. And the goal is to actually hire a full-time travel person. So like I know for a fact, once I'm at that 6-figure a month mark, we're currently floating, 35 to 45 for the past 2 to 3 months, and I've just been staying stagnant. But like it's not going to happen anymore. But the point being, once I get to that 6-figure month mark, I'm going to hire a full-time videographer and take this channel to the moon. So I'm super stoked for that, and just kind of document the travels, right? Like that's really what everyone wants. Like Daniel Dalen, for example, as people become more and more anti-social, AI, and just living on the internet, being isolated. Everybody wants somebody they can relate to. So I'm super stoked for that. And yeah, dude, those are definitely coming. So I hope this video helps you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next.